This quiz was built to help users find their Kibbe body type. There are many different body typing systems. Some are more complex, like the Kibbe system, and some are more simple, like this one. Most online quiz generators work great for the more simple quiz structures because you can have 5 answers per question and then provide the results in the format of, if you had mostly A answers, then your result would be, for example, pair. However, Kibbe's system has 13 different potential results, which means that results have to be calculated in a more intricate way. Some are simple, like the natural type is mostly B answers, but some are more complex, like the gamine result, which is an even mixture of A answers and E answers. So that's why a generic quiz generator could not be used and a custom algorithm had to be written. Another feature of this quiz is that since a lot of the qualities are overlapping, the results are calculated independently for each of the 13 types, and a probability percentage is assigned to each type instead of providing one single response. So looking at the code, this website was created on WordPress, and the main container on the quiz page has the HTML inside, and the JavaScript code is applied by a plugin called the Header Footer Code Manager plugin. When a button is clicked, it triggers a function called recordAnswer, which saves the answer data into a JavaScript object. It also triggers the next question to appear and an update to the progress bar. Once all of the questions have been answered, the results are calculated in 13 different functions, one for each of the answers. Taking a look at the most simple example, here is the natural function, which occurs when most answers are B. If the user has selected option B for all 16 questions, then the natural value variable will be 16. This value is then multiplied by 6.25 so that it can be expressed as a percentage out of 100 in the results graph. If the user selects option B for 14 of the questions and 2 random answers for the last 2 questions, then they would end up with 88% in the natural category, and depending on the last 2 answers, they may also end up with results in a different category. An example of a more complex calculation is the flamboyant gamine result, which is a nearly even mixture of A and E with several B. First, we check if there are more than 3 A answers and more than 3 E answers. This is to make sure that the dominant answers are A and E. Then we check if the difference is less than or equal to 2 to make sure that there is a nearly even mixture of A and E, and this custom abs function is there to help find the absolute value of the difference between A and E. Then we check whether there are several B answers, and lastly, we want to make sure that the A and E answers are dominant over the B answers, or else it is more likely that the user is a natural type. Another element that is calculated is the balance of yin and yang. Within this typing system, yin represents curves, whereas yang represents sharpness. D and E answers indicate yin, and A and B answers indicate yang, and C is usually somewhere in the middle. The raw results are also provided at the end because there is some room for interpretation with this quiz, so anyone who has inconclusive results or who wants to verify for themselves can take the answers and interpret them independently. And all these results are displayed using the chart.js library. In conclusion, this code could use some refactoring. For example, instead of having a single file with all of the JavaScript code, it could be separated into 2 so that the functions that deal with the page's appearance are not mixed with the functions that interpret the results, and maybe even a JSON file to hold all the question and answer text. Also, the result calculations could be improved and take into account more edge cases, as there are some people who end up with inconclusive results. But overall, this quiz eliminates the need for manual calculation and can save some time for the average user.